Yes, good evening, everybody. My name is Wolfgang Dax-Romswinkel, and I have the pleasure and the honor to lead today's session about the Judo Kata history and theory. And in two days, on Tuesday, we will explain all the technical details. For the moment and for today, it's only theory and history, about 45 minutes. Welcome, everybody, and enjoy the session. So let's begin in the historic part with the creation and first introduction of Judo Kata to the world of judo. And the creation of Judo Kata started around 1887 together with Gono Kata. Gono Kata is an almost forgotten kata. And both together, Judo Kata and Gono Kata were called the Kudokan no Taiso no Kata. Taiso means something like physical exercise. So it was a kata of physical education. So it had initially 10 techniques, but the details are today unknown. So we don't know which techniques were included, and we don't know any technical details. The first public introduction was during the presentation for the All Japan Society of Education in 1889. Jigoro Kano gave a big lecture and introduced judo to the to the Education Society. And later he wrote a full description around 1915 with illustrated flyers for each techniques. So Judo Kata was already expanded to 15 techniques in 1915 about. Later, when Seiryoku Zenyo Kokumin Taiku no Kata was formulated, a part of Judo Kata was included as the Sutta Renshu, as the partner exercises. So Kano Jigoro had chosen 10 techniques of Judo Kata, and this was named the Ju-Shiki. So here's a picture of one of the details. This is our drawings, about 100 years old, and these illustrations were added in an old judo magazine, and they showed and explained how to do Judo Kata. This is Obitori, one of the techniques of Judo Kata. Yeah, what did Kano Jigoro say in his famous lecture in 1889? First of all, he said that by practicing randori, the body muscles are not developed harmoniously, so a supplement through kata is required. So if you do a lot of randori, so maybe your arms and shoulders are getting strong, but maybe your back muscles are not worked out enough. So kata was a supplement to randori. Another problem was that in those days, there were no dojo, so many dojos, and people didn't have training clothes, or didn't have judogi. So Jigoro Kano looked for a way that you can practice in everyday clothes on stone or a wooden floor. So he said that there were different methods required to traditional jujutsu, and that's why he developed Gono Kata and Judo Kata the way they are practiced. There is no throwing in Judo Kata, and practitioners do not pull each other close, so nothing is getting destroyed, and they do not pull the neck, so you don't need the tatami, and you don't need judogi, and it's not so dangerous for injuries. So the conclusion of Jigoro Kano was that Judo Kata is suitable for everybody, even for old and impaired people. Yeah, later in 1921, he wrote another article, and in this article he wrote that the Judo Kata should be the first kata to learn, and then practitioners should learn like Nagano Kata, Kata no Kata, and Kyuno no Kata. So he gave two reasons. The first reason was that the basic principles of judo, so the principle of judo-ri, can be easily studied and learned by practicing Judo Kata. And the second reason was that, in his opinion, Judo Kata was easy to learn for beginners because there are no throws, so no ukemi knowledge is required, and all movements are executed in moderate speed. So it was, he said, it's easy to learn for beginners. So Juno Kata was primarily an exercise for beginners, not for experts. This picture here shows the physical education class of the Tokyo Higher Normal School. Tokyo Higher Normal School is now Tsukuba University, and this picture is from the second decade of the 20th century, so it's a little bit older than 100 years. And it shows the future teachers of physical education practicing Juno Kata in everyday clothes on the area on this of the Tsukuba University, which was located in Tokyo in those days. Here's another picture that shows girls training in, I think it's school uniforms. It's from the 1920s, I guess. And in front of the girls group, you see Jigoro Kano and another master. But this is, yeah, it's not Photoshop, but it's a photo montage, I think. Because Kano, Jigoro, and the other master, they are practicing something like Kimeshiki. So it's another form while the girls were practicing, as you can see, one of the ukigoshi lifts. They are in preparation of the ukigoshi lifts in Juno Kata. Here's another historic picture also showing girls practicing in school dresses, in school clothes, Juno Kata or maybe Juski. We don't know exactly. And here is a picture from a baseball stadium, a demonstration of, I think this is Jushiki from the Seihokuzen yo Kokumin Taiku no Kata, which Kano promoted very much in the 1930s, but I don't know exactly when this picture was made. But I think it's very impressive. It was a mass movement then, not something for specialists. I want to show you some historic parts of video, not the complete kata. One of the very, very famous judoka performing Juno Kata was Fukuda Keiko, later the first woman to obtain 9th Dan Kodokan. And we see some parts, some techniques of the an instructional film, which was filmed around 1971, 72 or 3. I don't know exactly. Please enjoy Fukuda Keiko doing Juno Kata. As this old film technique, of course, doesn't represent such a smooth movement like modern technique but today. This is a little bit of a pity, but yes, it's around 50 years old. But those who are familiar with today's teaching of Juno Kata, they will find out some differences to the modern style. Now shoulder turning and defending with Ippon Seonage. So what you see is that all movements are executed in moderate speed. There is no throwing, no gripping of judo-gi. This is the key point in Juno Kata. Now the last technique, Kiri-Roshi. So those of you who are familiar with Juno Kata, please take attention, because you will find a difference to modern style. 1, 2, 3 steps. Okay, so far, I have another one, Ryukata Oshi. So let's watch it, and then we proceed to the next example. And here we are. The next example is from the same time, an instructional film of the Kodokan, and demonstrated by Niboshi Haruko and Akiyama Sensei, who's still active in Kodokan. Niboshi Haruko Sensei passed away some years ago. So I think we have 3 techniques. Agaoshi, which we have seen previously by Fukuda Keiko. And you see here the idea of physical education. Now Kiri-Roshi, and you will see that she's making 2 steps. That's the way it is taught at the moment. This is a problem of the video, it's destroyed. And here we go for the final control. And the last technique is the same we saw previously by Fukuda Keiko, the Ryokata Oshi. One of the most difficult techniques in Juno Kata. Okay, as I said, the original idea of Juno Kata is physical education. And yeah, what we have here is a ladies group doing Juno Kata in all days clothes, in just normal training suits. And they don't really care about any criteria technically of good or not so good Juno Kata. They are just enjoying themselves and doing some gymnastics. Juno Kata or Shiki as gymnastic exercise. Yeah. What are the technical origins of Juno Kata? Where came the idea of Jigoro Kano? We can read in the famous book of Keiko Fukuda the following quote. I then began to speculate about the source of these illuminating techniques. I eventually found a possible answer in 2 kata that Professor Kano had mastered in his youth, Itsutsu no kata and Kushiki no kata. So the first conclusion we can draw from this quote is obviously the origins of Juno kata were not taught at the Kodokan during the 1930s and later, because otherwise Fukuda would not have to speculate about the possible answer about the sources. So we know that Itsutsu no kata and Koshiki no kata were originally kata of Tenshin Shinryu Jujutsu and of Kitoryu. So let's trace it back and let's find possible links to first Kitoryu. Kitoryu now is represented by Koshiki no kata. Koshiki no kata was taken from Kitoryu, was developed from Kitoryu, but now is Kodokan kata. And I show you some still pictures of the official video of Koshiki no kata, and we will compare it with some similar pictures of Juno kata. So this is an attack in Koshiki no kata. It's Ryokuhi. It's gripping the belt or something in front of the belt with crossed hands. And we find the same attack in Juno Kata, only switch sides. So in Koshiki no Kata, you have right over left, and in Juno Kata, you have left over right and step forward with the left foot, but it's the same attack. In Koshiki no Kata, this is the final position before throwing technique. This is also Ryokuhi, the same technique as before in the attack. And from this position, Tori throws Uke backwards by pulling on the shoulders. And in Juno Kata, we have exactly this position. And from there, Tori doesn't throw, but he breaks Uke's balance to the rear, and he holds Uke in this position. So no throwing means no ukemi and means safe training. This is another situation. This is the final position before the throw in Tanya Toshi, what is called Tanya Toshi in Koshiki no Kata. Please don't confuse it with Tanya Toshi as a Nagawaza. Completely different meaning of the name. And this is the final position of Ryokuhi. In this position, Tori could throw, but he doesn't in Juno Kata. It's the same, or it's the same position. Yeah, and finally another attack. This is in Koshiki no Kata. Uke turns Tori at his shoulders, and Tori will turn around and throw with Sutemi Waza. And in Juno Kata, we have the same attack. Uke turns around Tori, and Tori responds by lifting Uke up with Ippon Seonage. So there are many similarities between Koshiki no Kata and Juno Kata. But how about similarities and possible links to Tenshin Shinryu? So there is no historic evidence that these possible links are truly the links and the ideas, the source of the ideas of Jigoro Kano. But we have in Juno Kata, in the fifth technique, an attack of twisting the chin. So Uke attacks Tori by twisting the chin, and in Tenshin Shinryu Jujutsu, we have indeed a technique where Tori twists Uke's chin and then throws him down. Oops, sorry, I have to switch back. And here we can see it, twisting the chin, throwing, and controlling. So in Juno Kata, we can interpret that we have a defense against this kind of attack. And another technique in Tenshin Shinryu has some similarities with Kata Te Age in Juno Kata. So Tori and Uke approach each other, then Tori turns around and steps to the side and defends. So let's watch the Tenshin Shinryu version. Tori turns around and throws Uke backward. So there are some similarities between Tenshin Shinryu kata and Juno kata, but we must say that we don't know exactly if these are really the sources for Jigoro Kano. But we can say for sure, and we can agree with Keiko Fukuda, that Kano was really inspired by Koshiki no, by Kitoryu, Koshiki no Kata, Kitoryu Kata, and Tenshin Shinryu when creating Juno Kata. So what's the final goal of executing a kata? This is a very important term, riai. So it's the harmony between theory and practice. This is the final goal. And here you can see the kanji. And ri means principle or theory. And I, you know, maybe from Aikido, I means harmony. And if you put these both together, Ri and I together, we have the Ri, and the meaning of Ri is the execution of a kata in harmony with the theory. So that means that Tori and Uka understand the theory and they execute the kata in accordance with the underlying theory or with the underlying principles in another translation. So I have printed execute in bold letters. This is very important. Tori and Uka understand the theory and demonstrate the kata in accordance with underlying theory. Yes, if they demonstrate, then this must be true. But the meaning of kata is not demonstration. The meaning of kata is practicing and executing. So many people understand kata as a form of demonstration. And it's a real pity that the demonstration aspect is so overemphasized also in books. So Leggett wrote this book about Juno Kata, and the English title is The Demonstration of Gentleness. This is, well, maybe a marketing title, but I don't really like it. It's the execution of, not of gentleness, but of flexibility. It's a marketing title. Yeah, how's the learning path of kata? And I usually compare it with the layers of an onion. So first, you learn what is attack, what is defense, and what is counterattack. So the first thing you should learn is what should be done. What's the story of the kata? What's the action? Then, when you know what should be done, then you should learn about the criteria which follow attack and defense. So what is good and what is bad? So the question is, how should it be done to improve the quality and the level? And the third step is what the general principles behind the mechanics are. So are there, is the kata example for higher principles, for more general principles. And these three levels are what I would call external, because you can observe it from outside, and you can understand it. The next layers of this onion are internal things. So the fourth level is what kind of internal processes make the action effective. So how to manage your body, your breathing, the body tension, relaxing, and versus the tension versus the rhythm of the kata. This is a question of internal body management. And again, the next level is the general principles behind these internal processes. And this is a never-ending story. So our conclusion with my partner is that the essence of studying kata is really not striving for a certain result, not for a medal, not for a title. Okay, maybe I'm not a very good example if I say we are not striving for medals or results, but this cannot be the final goal. The final goal is a never-ending process of discovering how we adapt physically and mentally to external circumstances. And this is the true meaning of Ju. So in the end of a process, we can say it's from knowing to feeling. In the beginning, you maybe know what the principles should be. You can understand it intellectually, but you don't know how it feels. In the end, after a long, long process, you still know the same, but you know how it feels. And if you really know how it feels, you don't have to talk about it. And it's an understanding with your body. And this is our personal conclusion, the path of learning kata and of doing judo. So posture and body management is very, very important. So I want to give some short advices. There is a metaphor of a swan in the water. The neck is always up, straight, and never bend. And the eyes go like Murata Sensei, who sadly passed away in April this year. He always said, always look far mountains. So never look to anything that's in your close area. Never look to the ground. Look to the whole scenery, to the far mountains, but pay attention to every detail that is close to you. Yeah, balance is very important. So keep your hips always under your chest and never bend your upper body unless it is really necessary. So bending your body means that you're not stable, and a bending or a bending body can be used by an opponent to off balance you. Yeah, keep your knees always relaxed and flexible. Never stiff in the knees. Once you're stiff in the knees, you're about to lose your balance. You need relaxed and flexible knees. Watch skiers, skateboarders, surfers. They are all very relaxed, and they never stretch their knees. And once they stretch their knees, they are about to lose the balance. And never set your feet too close together. This is also very important when you put your feet close together, so every opponent will be able to do maybe sweeping techniques, the ashiharai, kuri ashiharai, or something like that. If you set your feet too close together, it's a good chance for your opponent. So always keep your feet apart, move always in suriashi, and avoid placing your heel on the tatami, placing your weight on the heel. Always keep your weight on the forward part of the feet. This is, of course, not only in Juno Kata or in Judo Kata, the way you have to move, but in Judo in general. Yeah, and another advice, never copy somebody else. Please never. You're your own person, your own personality, and you have to cultivate your own self. It makes no sense trying to copy somebody else. It makes no sense trying to be somebody else. It makes no sense to feel like somebody else feels. You must cultivate your own self, your own personality. So if you practice judo, do it for you. Do it for your own development and yeah, to your own cultivation. And there's a very famous saying that I will explain next week when it's about the theory of Koshiki no Kata. And it says, with no disturbance of the mind, feel the wonder of nature. And without intentional action, pursue the essence of changes. That means be open, be free in your mind. Do not focus your mind on something special. So just let your mind flow in a natural way, and then let the actions happen. So do not make any plans. So all the action comes from inside you, and you follow simply the changes of the circumstances. Yeah, and I prepared um, a little video I want to show you, and it shows Yokoyama Itsuko and Shigusa Omori, 5 times world champions in Juno Kata, and the recordings are made in 2008, and please enjoy and watch the spirit of Juno Kata. Yes, unmatched, legendary performance by Itsuku Yokoyama and Shigusa Omori. And here you can see the podium of the World Championship in 2013. It was the fifth and the last title of Yokoyama and Omori. And on third place, you can see Ola and myself. And many people think that the greatest moment of our career was 1 year later when we were able to beat Yokoyama Omori by the minimum gap of 2 points. But indeed, we both agree that this was the greatest moment in our career when we had the honor to be the first time together with Yokoyama Omori on the podium. Yeah. You're very welcome to write your comments and questions in the YouTube chat. And on Thursday, sorry, on Thursday in 2 days, we will explain the technical details of Juno Kata. And if you write your questions in the YouTube chat, then we can maybe answer some of your questions. So don't hesitate. If you have any question, just drop a note and then maybe we can answer it, hopefully. Yeah. That was the introduction and the history and the theory of Juno Kata. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to meet you in 2 days, same time, 7 o'clock, Central Europe time, explanation of technical details. I say goodbye for today, and I hope you have a pleasant evening and stay safe.